Now, I do apologize. Just going live then, I shared the wrong link into the JSA, which was a TikTok that I was supposed to be sending my missus. That could have gone badly. Could have gone badly, but it didn't. Just going to make sure now the internet's working, the sound's working, and that I've given people in the James Academy the right link. I pasted it through to the like group with the admins in, and I was like, hold on, it's a TikTok link. So for any of you, week one on the challenge, any questions, anything you need to ask, any support you need, this is the time. Cool. I'm pretty sure. I've got the right link in. But yeah, so good. Seems that people are populating. 6:30 in the morning over here. Welcome. I couldn't make the Tuesday because I was doing a talk in Queensland. So I did the live the day before, but this will be the most regular time until clocks change. When clocks change, it'll be an hour earlier. For you guys, I'll later for me. All right, let's get into it. Samantha, how do I record assisted pull-ups in a challenge? My aim is to reduce the kg to assist, please. Okay, so for this, let's say the machine's usually pin loaded. So when you're putting your reps and sets in, put the weight that you're putting the pin in. So let's say you're taking 35 kilograms off of your weight. In the app, it'd be like assisted pull-ups, weights, you'd be like 35 kilograms because that's the weight you're choosing that you're putting the pin in. Then over time, you want that to go to 30, and then you want to go to 25, then 15, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's what I would use to keep track. That's the thing, the metric that I think would be of most importance to then just keep on top of that as time goes on. Sean, greetings from Dublin. Still looking forward to getting your food log, mate. Still looking forward to it. Rachel, tried to explain to a friend the other day why high protein diet is good for fat loss, and I failed miserably. Please give me a simple sentence explanation. Okay. Protein fills us up, pretty much. High in satiety. If I was to give you, I'm going to give you £1 or $1 or €1 for every calorie you can eat in an hour, you would not be picking anything high in protein. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, get some chicken breasts. Yeah, give me some steak. You'd avoid that. You'd go for fats, carbohydrates, or ideally a mixture of both. Second thing, when we need to eat a high protein diet, suddenly our diet becomes infinitely more difficult and it needs to be planned. So let's say you take an average James Smith Academy member and put them on 150 to 200 grams of protein. Now they're like, okay, what am I going to have here? What am I going to have there? All right, well, I'm probably going to need to cook 3 chicken breasts for Tuesday. Right. Am I going to have that in one meal? Probably not. Okay, so I might have some chicken and some vegetables at lunch with some sauce. Then I might have some chicken with some noodles in the evening after training. Then I'll put some vegetable. And you start planning your day a lot better. So it's twofold. It's to do with the satiety. It's also to do with the planning. Not many people can just wing a high protein day. That's why so many people like things like protein bars, because they're on the go, they're on the move, they're striving for the highest protein target they can. Protein bar is just the easiest thing for them. Ridzi, when is the 12-week challenge open? How much is it? I'm not sure. It's quite a while. I think it's September. And we will release all the pricing for that at the time. I'm not going to talk about pricing just yet. I'll be honest with you. We're trying to reduce prices wherever possible. Now, at the moment, it's incredibly difficult because of just the costs that we have, really. But I think we might, I can't promise, have something in the works that might even be better priced coming into the next challenge. Sean, kept a food diet. When do you want it? When you've done a week. Okay, cool. So yeah, Samantha Illingworth. So just picture and that. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Your aim is to reduce the kilograms to assist. If that's your photo for the challenge, still get a picture of you in there. That's what I want to see. I want to see you, even if you're just like doing a double gun pose or something. I think that would be a pretty cool way of, in your challenge. I don't want to see a picture of a pin loading machine. So your goal is reduce that weight over time. Maybe even a picture of you on the machine or a screenshot from a video of you doing it. I think they're the things that, that's the best way to do it. All right, I'm just going to double check the app as well right now. I'm pranging that I put that of to do with the talk I was doing the other day. Let's see if it says that I'm live. But yeah, 29 people. Brilliant. I've actually got some questions from Nicole that I need to answer. Let's have a look. We spoke about some of these the other day. Do you need to add cardio to programs? If not, why not? Okay, very simple, this one. So for many of you, let's say you're completely new to this regime, you're completely new to training, getting fit, everything like that. We don't need to have cardio in there straight away to begin the program. We don't need to have, way over the top to begin with. And for a lot of us, I think it's a good idea that we manage our diet, our calories, and our protein, then we do weight training. Then on top of that, over time, might take a while, we can incorporate cardio when we need to, maybe when things are starting to slow down, maybe when things are starting to stall, maybe when things are starting to plateau. But I do think it's important that we ensure that we don't do everything straight away from the off. I don't want people getting tired or disheartened or, biting off more than they can chew. I think that cardio is something we can incorporate whenever. Like if you want to go play a game of tennis with your mates, I'm not going to be like, no cardio. But what I am saying is from the off, let's start with less and then we can always add cardio. Adam, enjoying week 1. Cheers. Glad to have you here. Callum, I've seen a lot of insulating heat shirts that sort of keep you warm and sweating. I recall you saying you burn more weight in heat. Do you think these insulated shirts can help with weight loss? No, we burn more calories in the cold. So a calorie is the amount of energy we need to heat 1 gram of water through 1 Celsius. Can't even drink. So people in the cold burn more calories. I don't know if you remember, like there was that Top Gear special where they went to the North Pole, and in that they had to be considerate of consuming more food. So the generation of heat is where calories come from. So let's think about women. Let's say your wife or your sister or whatever starts dieting and they're on like a very low calorie diet. They feel the cold so much. They're like, oh my God, I'm so cold. So women, when we think about those components, it does happen to dudes, but mostly women. When we think about those components of, heat production, whether it's at rest, exercising, etc., women are often more inclined to feel the cold. So we have all of these kind of mechanisms. The reason people think that getting hot would help you burn more calories is because you sweat more. And there's an inclination to think that sweat and fat loss are like tied together. Now, that's not to say your body doesn't have to work harder when you're sweating, but people think, okay, if they sweat out a kilogram of sweat, there's too many memes on the internet that say sweat is fat crying. And I think too many people have taken that literally. But yeah, you're just sweating, mate. If anything, let's say you're jumping on a treadmill, cross trainer, or a rowing machine. For someone like myself, I'd want to make sure I'm cool, because if I'm cool, I can work harder for longer. I don't want to be unnecessarily dehydrating, which could probably happen. So long story short, I just don't think that it's a good way. There are some athletes that do train in these shirts to sweat out, but they're trying to make weight. So you see Conor McGregor boxing in a bin bag, it's because he wants to drop water weight. James, sorry you're late, mate. 10 push-ups. No, mate, joking. Sophie, has anyone ever won a challenge twice? Like done one challenge, won it, and done another one? We've had winners who've placed before. So we've had some winners who have come second in previous challenges. I don't think anyone's ever done a double header. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Let's imagine that scenario did come around. I think from an ethical standpoint, I would probably say you got Boris wins one challenge, and then it's very close, because usually between the top 3, it's a whisker. It's like literally the smallest amount of difference. If Boris had done the best progress, I'd probably be inclined to say, look, let's give it to number 2. So I'm not saying you can't win twice, but I kind of am. Because I'd say, look, you've had your 10 grand or your 5 grand. You've had your holiday to Disneyland, mate. It's time for someone else. It's time for someone else to, win the prize. So I say it's fairly unlikely. I don't think anyone has won twice. Maybe they have, but I'm pretty sure some people have placed second and first. Kate. Oh, I like your name's Kate T. T for the surname. So it sounds like your name's Katie. It's quite. Hi, Jess. How many rest days are recommended each week? Struggling with energy levels. I'm likely doing too much, aiming for every day. Instead of thinking about incorporating rest days, like incorporating rest days seems to give out this idea that everyone trains every day, which not many people do. So I'd say, right, how many days is optimal? Because it might be 3, might be 4, might be 5, might be 7 for others, might be 3 for others. So instead of planning rest days, plan training days and see how many you can recover from. But yeah, if your energy levels are poo, dial back on the training. That doesn't mean you don't do anything, but maybe trading a training session for an active day or walking or, just chilling out would be better for you. Maybe even a short and sweet. You could even just go to the gym, because for a lot of people, it's the psychological thing, right? They think they're not making any progress if they don't go to the gym. So you could say, right, I'm going to reduce my volume. or, I'm going to do less exercises or less sets. You might even go to the gym, just use the leg press 20 minutes and come home. So yeah, it's one of those. Sean, I realize how much I need a proper meal plan and organized food preparation. You say that, and I do think that would help, but there's often a lot of clues in people's food logs to allude to the reason why they're overeating. I had a client before she was a dog trainer, and she was just binge in the evenings. And I got her to be honest. And when she was honest, I looked at her food log and I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. She was like, I told you. But in essence, she would have a sandwich at midday and then she wouldn't eat till like 6 or 7 p.m. Then when she got home at 6, 7 p.m., she'd binge. And I got her to make another sandwich. And I said, you eat this sandwich at 3:30. She ate that sandwich at 3:30 and she binged a lot less in the evenings. An extra sandwich didn't cost her the world, didn't make her food preparation time much longer, and reduced the amount of food she had in the evening a lot. So it's one of those. Barley Master. I wish sweat was fat crying. I sweat like crazy in this Texas heat at the gym. Oh, Texas. Last time I was in Texas, it was fucking freezing. Granted, it was December, but my God, it gets cold in Austin anyway. Be back there in December. All right. Me too, Barley. Ridzi, would you say it's safe to drop 6 stone in a year? Yeah, I'd say if you have 6 stone to lose, that'd be great for your health. Like trimming the fat, anything that's excessive, I almost don't think you can lose it too quick because your body doesn't particularly want to carry that weight. And it would be an extreme deficit. It would be difficult. But I think all your health markers will go up. I think the real health concern would be what happens after this, just to make sure you keep it off. So health-seeking behaviors, being active, eating well, portion sizes, all of this. So yeah, absolutely. And if you fall short and lose 3 or 4, you're still going to feel so much better. Timmy, how to remain motivated without a weighing scale around and about 3 months to lose 8 to 10 kilograms. If you haven't got a weight scale and you want to lose 8 to 10 kilograms, maybe you change your goal a little bit. Maybe say it's something more subjective, like I want to be comfortable running without my top on, because that's what most dudes want, right? Most of us don't like going for a run. But if I said I could get you into shape where you could go for a run without your top on and you felt good and you didn't mind that bit of wobble because it was so little and unnoticeable, that would be like quite a cool goal. Now it's subjective because you'd probably never be fully happy. But before IFS in 2019, I went to Barcelona on my own. I just wrote my first book and I dieted really strict. And I remember one day I went for a run and I've never felt so little fat jig as I was running, and it was amazing. Made me so happy. Okay, James, should I avoid carbs? Top level answer, no. So carbohydrates are fine, really. And I don't think many people have really truly got a carbohydrate problem. No one's there like, oh yeah, I'm addicted to plain rice or I'm addicted to potato. The kind of issue comes from when you mix carbohydrates and fats. Like, let's look at potato. Not going to overeat it. Hot chips, add that fucking fat, and you're like, oh yeah. Plain bread, nah. Toast with butter, donuts. It's mixtures of fats and carbohydrates. Chocolate, fats and carbohydrates. So when you look at those, it's not necessarily carbohydrates the problem. It's foods that are very easy to overeat. That the problem. It's foods that light up your brain with fireworks, and you have chocolate, and like chocolate's like half an orgasm. And humans are primitively like walking around the planet wanting to fuck everyone. So, when you got things that you can put in your mouth that cost £1.50 from a petrol station that are going to give you intense pleasure, it's not about avoiding carbs. Like, the reason many people are overweight and trying to lose fat isn't because they eat carbs, it's because they eat too much. And it's very easy for us to eat too much because of the environments that we live in and that we are, subjected to on a daily basis. The majority of the time the human race was on the planet, it was hungry. More people die of obesity than they do starvation. That's just the fact. We've evolved too well and we made things too easy to get access to. So no, you could eat loads of carbohydrates to be fine. Those of you with like insulin resistance, or maybe even pre-type 2 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, even then I think you could, but you'd probably want to have them later in the day, maybe before bed, because that drowsiness and tired effect would actually probably help you sleep. And again, if you have carbohydrates that make you feel like shit, then don't have them early on in the day. And I know they used to test for type 2 diabetes with measuring glucose in the blood. So everyone seems to think the glucose is bad, therefore carbohydrates is bad. But the reason, I don't think they do this test anymore. The reason they pinprick you Let's say you're really overweight, you go to the doctor, they're like, oh, we're testing you for type 2 diabetes. You don't know what that means. Now, if you go there fasted and they prick your blood and there's still glucose in it, that means the last thing you ate went into the bloodstream and didn't have anywhere to go. Now, usually when food goes into the bloodstream, and it doesn't have anywhere to go, fat can take it and go, yo, like a bank account. I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that for you later. But if you deny energy in the blood from having anywhere to go through being too obese and being too sedentary, it has nowhere to go. And that, remainder of energy in the blood is what is a classification for health markers, because that's not how we're supposed to live. Queen of Camp. You always talk about everyone having that one unhealthy food that they can't eat without binging. What's yours? It's not necessarily an unhealthy food. I don't think we should look at foods as healthy and unhealthy. It's not like a dichotomy. Burger, let's look at pizza. Is a pizza unhealthy? Not really. It's just a lot of calories, not that much nutrients. The average sitting of a pizza is probably 75% of the amount of calories you need in a day. So when we look at it, that doesn't mean it's bad, but for the majority of people to have a large pizza in the evening, you'd bet your money that they're going to over exceed their calories for the day. Alternatively, grilled or air fried chicken breasts with a plethora of vegetables and, sweet potato, that has a lot of nutrients, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, a lot of essential things in there. Now, if you were to have that for dinner, chances are you might come under your calories for the day. So it's not that we have healthy foods or unhealthy foods. But for me, it's probably at the moment in Australia, caramel breakaway chocolate, which is just insane. But I really struggle around food. Everything I overeat. And I'll be honest with you guys. Right, we keep this our little secret. I will be doing a video about this soon. I have been doing some personal research with peptides. So I've got an injury in my elbow. So I've been taking a peptide called BPC 157 for the elbow. Also in a bid to try and increase my vitality for training. This one wouldn't apply to most of you. I've started taking CJC and ipamorelin, which is something called a growth hormone secretagogue, which I inject twice a day. And that's really helped me in the gym with like my recovery, my training, but that isn't the one that I'm kind of interested about. So this week and the end of last week, I was like, right, what kind of peptides could potentially be of interest to my clients? And I started semaglutide on Sunday. Now, semaglutide is also known as like Saxenda, the kind of diabetes pen. And I bought it from like a private clinic, so I'm not like taxing the NHS. I actually did videos openly stating that I wouldn't take it. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Actually, I have a feeling in the next 5-10 years, there's a potential that people might need this. So I took it. And for the first time, I'm only 3-4 days in. For the first time in my life, I'm not overeating. And it's crazy, right? Because there is a little bit of nausea with the semaglutide, tiny bit of nausea, right? But it's nothing near what I used to get from overeating all the time. So when I put myself in a deficit, when I try and lose weight, I just go long periods of the day without eating, because when I do eat, I have to eat a lot. I have to feel gastric stretch. This is just who I am, right? If my stomach isn't uncomfortably full, I can't say no to food. That's like Darren's the same. When Darren and I go out for dinner, like we can't just go out and enjoy food. That's why I think we relate with our clients so much. We have to eat and overeat. So even though I'm only a week in, I'll probably do a video after 2 or 3 weeks. It's amazing that I feel like a normal person. Like we're all here because our bodies probably aren't in the bit of health or shape that we'd like them to be. And we look at other people and they kind of just naturally do it. The last 3 days, I've been eating like a normal person, not waiting until I feel physically sick to stop eating. But it'll be interesting. I'll do like a full breakdown and review on it, see whether or not it's of worth to people. But so far, I'm slightly impressed. So yeah, no such thing as an unhealthy food. When it comes to binging, I don't think there's ever a time that many of us will just eat half of the food in our plate and go, oh, I'm full, thanks. I'm a coach driver and work different hours every day. I have an excuse ready to justify snacking and binging. This week, the little changes I made to eating and moving have made me feel a lot more mellow. Made me a lot more mellow. That's good, I hope. Rich, Hi, James. When you record the workouts on the app, do the coaches see this with the notes at the end of the week or every 4 weeks? Now, this was something that we wanted to implement. I want to say we've implemented this, but if we haven't, it will be in an update. This is something where actually Shaw and I are terrible. Where I'll say to Shaw, "We need this." He's like, "It was in the last update," and I was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Let me find out for you actually, because I don't know where we are with that. And also, we're balancing two apps at the same time. So we got the new Mentor app as well. So as far as the development, I'm not just 100% sure. Okay, do you recommend Zercher lifts such as the Zercher squat, Zercher deadlift for young wrestling athletes? If so, how can they prevent injury while performing them? Yeah, I do actually. I did a YouTube video called "Train Like a Combat Athlete" for the day, where I get taught how to do Zercher squats by like a wrestler. Yeah, I think they're really good. For those of you who don't know, Zercher is where you hold the bar and your elbows at the front. And yeah, I really like them. You don't lift like what you would lift in other lifts, but it's much more transferable to maybe wrestling style, where you would be using your quads or you'd be standing up in a compound lift with someone in front of you. Callum, I'm 6 foot and 90 kilogram. I'm not particularly fat, just chubby and got love handles. We'll start gymming soon. Just wondering if it's worth cutting or just bulking. Okay, if you're 90 kilograms at 6 foot, you're not like, you're only 4 kilograms lighter than me. You If I was you, high protein diet, train really hard. Just train really hard. Don't even focus so much on being in a deficit. I think that, just live at maintenance. Eat that high protein diet, go to the gym, lift weights, kill your muscles, recover, sleep well. Like 6 foot, it's 90 kilograms. What a frame to build on. Do you know what most men would give just to be 6 foot? You know what I mean? Okay, I've been out the gym a week and losing motivation. Richie Price. Well, could you go to the gym today or tomorrow? It's in the evening in the UK. And again, you don't have to have the best workout of your life. For so many of you, it's important to understand that you could go to the gym for just 10 minutes. Just do one exercise 3-4 times and you'll feel so much better. Then your mind, you'll be like, "Oh, I didn't even do that much today." But it could be enough. So yeah, don't beat yourselves up. If you're like, "Oh, I haven't been to the gym in a week," go to the gym. "Oh, I haven't had a good workout in a while." Well, if you go in and just do 3 sets of squats or something and leave, then you're going to be good. You're going to be good. What questions have we got? Let me see if I've got more from Nicole. Losing more weight won't get the look they want. Okay, yeah. So we got some members that are around the 50 to 60 kilogram mark who want to lose weight. I think for those guys, if you are in that cohort of people, I don't think weight is always the best metric. Weight is something definitely to look at, but this kind of recomposition or like improving your physique, I think is something we do need to look at. Oh, here we go. Ridzi, how to have the confidence to go to the weights area in the gym. I like classes because I can hide out, but weights is still what? Yeah, do you know what? When I go to a new gym, I'm a bit like, "Well, where the fuck is everything?" Not many people in the gym know what they're doing. They don't. I'm still guilty of sitting on a leg extension and finding out it's a seated hamstring curl. Shit happens. But people are never caught up in their lives, or they're never caught up in your lives as much. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt that said, "You wouldn't care what people thought about you if you knew how seldom they do," which means if you really knew how often people thought about you, you wouldn't care half as much as what other people think. So they just don't know. There's another study done where I think participants in a university came into lectures late, and the students walking into that lecture late were like, "Oh, everyone saw me." But in the post like study they did afterwards, I think like 20% of students actually remembered someone coming in late. Then there was another one at university where people wore embarrassing celebrities on their t-shirts and walked around campus, and literally no one noticed because people are so caught up in their own little lives they don't even know you're there. You know, classes will only get you so far. And okay, Ridzi, this is my answer to you. You want the confidence to go to the weights area in the gym. Go home, make like a little table on the wall. For 2 months, I want you to draw a little X on that every time you go to the weights area. Now, if you hit the weights area, even to just do one set of bicep curls and put them back, I want you to do it 100 times. Now, then when you've got 100 X's, let's check back. You're going to go to the weights area, don't care how long, what exercise, whatever. Every time you do it, mark the wall with a little X. Once you've done it 100 times, I guarantee halfway there, you'll be like, "This is fine." Again, there's a story that I put in my last book about, I think they're like American soldiers that were moving through the American wilderness, and they thought they were about to get eaten by lions because they were surrounded by lions. The lions are like roaring out in the middle of the night, and all these soldiers were like, fuck, we're going to get eaten by wolves, not lions. They were going to get eaten by wolves. And like they're all shitting themselves. They're writing notes to their loved ones like, oh, babe, whatever. Then when they move forward, they realize it was just two wolves making all of the noise. But the thing is, when they heard the noise of the wolves and they thought about their situation, your enemy is always greater in your head than in reality. Like humans big things up to be way worse than they are. So even though I can appreciate why you might find it uncomfortable in the gym to go to certain areas, all of these fears are fabricated in your mind. The reality is that there is no one dangerous there. There is no one judging you with prying eyes. Like all of these things that you've cultivated in your head don't really exist. So yeah, go there 100 times. Timmy, 6'5", 98 kg. What a frame. Want to get down to 90. I'm walking 30 minutes a day. Just move around the house to burn calories. How often should I do resistance training? I love skipping. Skipping is great. Maybe twice a week to begin with. Just do some push, some pulls, some squats, something like that. Even a leg press can be great for you. Aaron Lewis, hey James, suffered with lower back pain for the last few years. Been back in the gym for about a month and find my back's worse. Any exercise I should avoid? Yeah, first of all, what exercises are triggering this back pain? Are you deadlifting? Are you doing any like hinge work or deep squats, or what is it? Can you film those exercises and send them to me? You shouldn't be really having any back pain, like in the gym or with movements or anything like that. It's not normal. I deadlifted 210 kilograms the other day without training, zero back pain, like nothing. Woke up the next day, not even sore. Like we should be able to lift 1.5 times our body weight without, really putting ourselves out. So yeah, send me some of your lifts. There'll probably be some things there maybe I could pick up on. Okay, Timmy, I feel overwhelmed. Where do I burn calories from in the day? Walking, skipping, or resistance training? Mate, get into some of the modules in the app. You burn 60% of the calories just being alive. Think about this, right? If you're sat at home watching this live, your endocrine system for all your hormones, your reproductive system for your testicles or your ovaries, you've got your nervous system, your central nervous system, you've got your muscular skeletal system, right? You've got your cardiovascular system. You've got a big organ pumping blood around. Then out of that, you've got your respiratory system, which is now doing gaseous exchange between carbon dioxide and fucking oxygen, right? Your heat production, you're probably at 36.9 degrees ongoing, right? You've got systems on systems on systems keeping this big bag of bones and muscles going. You've got cell regeneration. You've got, platelets in the blood. You've got so many systems powering you, keeping you alive. Why do you imagine this, right? Why do people starve to death? Because they've got too many systems burning too many calories for the amount of food that's coming in. People in comas can lose weight. Now, you don't walk, skip, or do resistance training to burn calories. You walk to be active. It's good for your mind and it's good for your body. You do skipping because skipping is shit. And for the 10 minutes you do the skipping, you're there. Every little, you're convincing yourself that you want to change who you are and how you live your life. Resistance training you do to get strong, to avoid injuries. If you look at the statistics, in 20, 30, 40 or 50 years, you might fall over in your home as an old person. And the fact, if your hip is going to fracture and put you in hospital and you're going to spend the rest of your days in a fucking bed in critical care, or if you're just going to get back on and get on with your life, it's going to be dependent on the habits that you implement over the next fucking however many decades. Right? Your bone density, your joint health, all of these things. One day, mate, you don't weight train to burn calories. One day you're gonna struggle to take a shit on your own. And you're gonna have to get a carer or your kids to come through and wipe your ass for you. And we have the opportunity as younger people to implement things in our lives to make sure that we can offset that to a much later age. Like, we don't exercise to burn calories. I just don't think that is the way we should see this. We have the opportunity. I'll get in an ice bath in 20 minutes. I don't do it for the recovery. I do it because those 3 minutes I'm in the ice bath, I'm telling myself, you're not a bitch. You're going to do everything you want to do today. I don't get in the ice bath to burn calories. I do it to prove to myself what I'm about today. So yeah. All right, last few. Callum, beyond your books, are there any you recommend? No. No, it depends on the subject. If you're at a certain point in your life, let me know and I'll tell you what books. Quick question. If I feel like I have the energy, should I do an extra day in the gym on top of my 5 days? Or do I just exhaust myself further from yeah, first point of call would be work harder across the 5 days. If you're training really hard, you should get to a point where you're like, fuck it, I'm having a day off. If not, just maybe do something active. Take your dog for a run, go meet your mate for a game of squash or something like that. James, 3 months into your program, all my bloods, blood pressure, heart rates came back on the money. That's the numbers I care about. Thank you. Good man, Sean. I love watching you. Very helpful. Can I bring you to Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA to speak at an event? Isn't that like where Breaking Bad's from? Heisenberg. Yeah, sure. There's a guy called if you ever do want give me an email address for the event stuff. There you go. Training programs from JSA, and I'm quite often straining the legs in my job. So last thing I want after work is leg day. How imperative is it to do workouts on the order in the app per week? Usually we put the hardest stuff first, and the hardest stuff for most people is the legs. Like, let's say you do a lot of leg stuff for your job. That doesn't mean don't train any legs, but maybe you just say to your coach, look, I'll do 2 or 3 sets. It's not, you don't want to nuke yourself, because for the majority of people, they don't use their legs in their job. So they're getting a lot of volume. This would be something just to make sure you communicate with your coach and just say, look, minimal volume for legs, minimal. Like, even if it's 3 sets of heavy squats a week, it's not going to put you out in the office. But yeah. And like, even if you did have sore legs at work, push through it, Obviously, you don't want to be like, oh, John Wayne walking around, but yeah. All right. Half an hour. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Hope you guys are doing all right. If you need anything or any form checks or anything, my email address, I'm just going to pop it down here again for all you guys, just in case. It's a more seamless way of sending me videos. James@james.com. I will see you guys in a few days. We'll be jumping on this live again. If you can't be good, be careful, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Enjoy yourself. Have a good weekend. And if you need anything, you let me know. Bye-bye.